G5 jet, I'm fly shit. You cannot deny it. Oh no, 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 no. Bitches be on my dick. Designer twist, I'm fly shit. You cannot deny it. Oh no, 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 no. Better back up off and bitch, watch me fall. Better back up off and bitch, watch me fall. Better back up off and bitch, watch me fall. Better back up off and bitch, watch me fall. Better back up off me, bitch, watch me ball. Watch me ball. Better back up off me, bitch, watch me ball. Me, I'm like a pilot. G5 jet, I'm fly shit. You cannot deny it. Oh no, 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 no. Bitches be on my dick. Designer threads, I'm fly shit. You cannot deny it. Oh no, 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 no. Me, I'm like a pilot. G5 jet, I'm fly shit. You cannot deny it. Oh no, 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 no. Bitches be on my dick. Designer threads, I'm fly shit. You cannot deny it. Oh no, 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 no. Better back up off me, bitch, watch me fall. Better back up off me, bitch, watch me fall. Better back up off me, bitch, watch me fall. Oh no, 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 no. Watch me. Better back up off me, bitch, watch me fall. Watch me fall. Better back up off me, bitch, watch me fall. Watch me fall. Better back up off me, bitch, watch me fall. I'm like a pilot, G5 jet, I'm fly shit. You cannot deny it. Oh no, 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 no. Bitches be on my dick. Designer threads, I'm fly shit. You cannot deny it. Oh no, 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 no. Me, I'm like a pilot, G5 jet, I'm fly shit. You cannot deny it. Oh no, 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 no. Bitches be on my dick. Designer threads, I'm fly shit. You cannot deny it. Oh no, 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 no. Better back up off me, bitch, watch me fall. Better back up off me, bitch, watch me fall. Better back up off me, bitch, watch me fall. Better back up off me, bitch, watch me fall. Better back up off me, bitch, watch me fall. Watch me fall.
Yo, what's good, guys? Glad y'all could join the stream today. And it's actually been a while since I've been on my YouTube, man. But man, it feels so good to be back. But for pretty much my first video back here, I wanted to just pretty much do like a live stream of sorts, but instead of it just being like a regular live stream where I would probably just do like a sound design session or just a music production session and stuff, I decided to actually make this into pretty much like a masterclass. So I've been having a lot of fun with Serum 2, and I've been making like a lot of good like kick drums, snare drums, hi-hats, rides, and all that stuff. I've been making all that stuff inside of Serum 2 lately, and I just figured, okay, well, you know what? I'm kind of comfortable with kind of like what I've accumulated and all the knowledge I've done now with making drums from scratch. That I figured, okay, how about I actually just do my own little like mini course in a way, kind of like a masterclass. And for this whole masterclass, I'm just going to be going through pretty much my whole knowledge base of how to actually make drums from scratch. So if you pretty much, if that's actually a mission of yours as a sound designer, as well as a music producer, and you just want to make your own drums from scratch, definitely feel free to follow along, man. But before I actually start, I want to actually give a full disclaimer here that you don't necessarily need Serum 2 in order to make your own drums from scratch. As long as you understand the fundamentals of what a kick drum sounds like and the type of like oscillators and stuff you need to use in order to make a kick drum or a snare drum and everything, you could pretty much use any kind of synth or anything that pretty much can generate those types of sounds. So if you can find a synth that could generate a sine wave or a triangle wave or something like that, whether it be like Harmer, Citrus, or even Ableton's little wavetable that they have where you could actually have a sine wave in there. As long as you have something to do that with, then you pretty much can make kick drums with whatever synth you want. I'm just using Serum 2 because it kind of streamlines the whole process. Like the fact that you have like 3 oscillators and like 2 filters and all stuff, like, oh my god, it literally makes drum design so easy. Because before I would have to use I would think like three different instances of the original Serum just to make the types of kicks I wanted. But now with, Serum 2's upgrade, oh my god, it's so much better. So that's why I'm going to be using Serum 2, is just because it streamlines the whole process much faster. But if you don't have Serum 2, don't let that discourage you from watching this masterclass and at least learning a thing or two. Because like I've said before, as long as you know the fundamentals of what a kick drum sounds like, or how the kick drum is made, or even how a snare drum is made, which is what we're going to be discussing in this masterclass, as long as you know those, you can use any synth you got in your arsenal to make this, okay? So with that full disclaimer out of the way, use whatever synth you want. And also another good disclaimer is I highly excuse me, damn. I need to actually go get some water because my mouth is really dry right now. But another disclaimer is I highly encourage you that if you are going to be watching this masterclass, if you're not watching it live right now, but you're watching it on the channel, I highly encourage you guys to actually do some active learning with this masterclass. In other words, have your DAW open with your favorite synth and actually follow along with the masterclass and actually learn as you go. Because if you just passively watch the video, you're just passively learning and it's just going to fly over your head. But if you really want this type of knowledge to stick in to your brain, then start to actively learn with the masterclass and have your DAW open next to you and work alongside with the synth, and you'll pretty much learn as you go. Like, oh, so now I see why, he's putting the LFO on this to make it sound like that and stuff. Now you understand the reason why I'm doing the things I'm doing. So I highly encourage active learning, but if you are on the go right now and you're like at work and you can't really mess with a synth right now, then at least have if you have a Samsung and everything, have like a Samsung Notes open, or if you're on iPhone using Apple Notes, just have some type of notes app open and just start taking some notes on anything you find interesting. And then once you get home, just immediately start practicing it. Because by actively learning and practicing, you'll learn something 10 times faster than someone who just passively learns by watching tutorials all day. Okay? And I'm just speaking from experience. So, with that out of the way, I'm going to go get me some water, and we're going to start this masterclass. So give me about, I would say, a few seconds, all right? So don't go nowhere. Alright, that was really good. Alright. Alright, so let's get into the studio and let's start the masterclass, shall we? Okay. So, let's start with the tools that we're going to be using today. So, for this masterclass, I'm going to be using Serum 2 to pretty much make all of the drums that I'm going to be making from scratch. But like I've said in the disclaimer, as long as you know the fundamentals, you can use whatever synth you want. So we'll need this, and I highly recommend this as well. You'll need an oscilloscope to be able to see like how your drums look in real life. Well, not real life, but real time. You'll need an oscilloscope to be able to see your drums in real time, so that way you can see exactly how they're being made and how you're affecting them with the distortion and everything. So I highly recommend you to buy this one oscilloscope called Syscope. I've been using Syscope for pretty much the past, like, I would say like 2.5 to 3 years now, and it's been my go-to oscilloscope for sound designing ever since. This was actually recommended by my mentor Nasco, and yeah, ever since then, like, that's how I've been able to make all of my drums from scratch and make it sound completely clean and the way I want it to, is just by having an oscilloscope to be able to see everything from scratch. So I highly recommend you just have any kind of oscilloscope that will be able to see how you are making your drums look in real time. But me personally, I use Syscope. It's only like, I think like 10 or 12 bucks. If you just look up Syscope Pro, it's only like 10 or 12 bucks, and it's honestly like one of the best investments you can make as a sound designer. So we'll need Serum 2, we'll need Syscope, and also, if you are a sound designer as well, I highly recommend on your phone, definitely get this app. It's called, I think it's called Dolby Audio. No, Dolby On. Okay. So Dolby On, right, is kind of like it's kind of like a microphone that's inside of your it's kind of like a microphone that's in your phone and everything, and it records at high quality. So you could literally use this to record stuff all around in your environment to be able to make like much more like unique sounding like rides, unique sounding hi-hats. If you want to make like unique sounding perks and stuff, you could take like, you know, little knocks on doors and everything that you can record. Even take little like flicks on metal pings like bing, bing. You could just record all that and then make that into a little perk. So I highly recommend you have Dolby on your phone and just record any random sound in your environment, and then be able to bring it into the DAW. And once you bring it into the DAW, you'll be able to mess around with it and create some very unique drums. Alright, so those are pretty much the tools we pretty much have. I already made like a couple recordings with my phone that I downloaded already, so we'll go ahead and use them in the masterclass later. But those are the three that I highly recommend. Is you have a synth that can pretty much generate a sine wave or something like that, and you'll be able to make any kind of drum from scratch. You need an oscilloscope, which I use Syscope for, so that way you can be able to see how you're making your drums in real time. And you'll also need Dolby on your phone, or any kind of like high quality microphone on your phone, and just record a bunch of stuff in your environment to be able to get some very unique drum sounds, and also some good textures as well. You can even use like I think in one song, I forgot what it was. There was one song that literally used like the passing of a subway train they used the passing of a subway train in conjunction with a pad, and it literally gave it like such a luscious feel. So yeah, don't sleep on your environment, man. The sounds in there can really add some extra textures to your sounds. Alright. So Alright, so we're gonna start with we'll start with the kick drum first. So for the kick drum, here are the fundamentals, okay? The fundamentals is for a kick drum, there are 3 different types of layers. I'll pull up my notes for this. Alright, so the kick drum pretty much has 3 different parts to it, okay? It has a transient, which is a harsh click at the beginning of the kick. Then there's the body, which is how long or short the kick will be, and you know, how hard will it actually thump on the speakers. Will it go like boom, 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 or will it just be a soft little boom, 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 boom type of kick, you know? That's pretty much what the body's gonna handle. And then there's an added layer called like a top layer, and that layer allows for, oh shit, sorry. My knee hit my desk. And the top layer kind of adds presence as well as a little bit of feeling to the drum as well. And we'll get to pretty much how to make top layers as we go along with it. But those are pretty much the 3 fundamental parts of a kick drum. Oh, and also, fundamentally, kick drums are made with sine waves. So as long as you have a sine wave, you literally will be able to make any kind of kick drum you pretty much want to make. And it's the same with snares as well. Snares are pretty much made with sine waves as well, just at a higher octave. Yeah, 1 second. Excuse me. Alright, so now that we know what the fundamentals are, it's a sine wave, and it has a transient, a body, and a top layer. Let's get to making one from scratch. So, using Serum, using the default shapes right here, we'll go ahead, pull this up, go to a sine wave. Now we'll grab a pattern. There we go. Then we'll pick like a low note, probably within around like the 2 octave area. All right, let's go for E. So we'll use E as our note for the kick. See. Hey, what's good, Chris Perkins? Glad you could join the stream, man. Or glad you can join the masterclass, actually. Hey, did I make it just at the start? Yes, you did. Yes, you did, bro. We're actually just about to get started with pretty much getting started on how to make a kick from scratch. But just as a recap, since pretty much you've made it here right now, at the beginning of the stream, I was pretty much just making a disclaimer that regardless of the fact that I'm using Serum 2 to make this, you can literally use any synth you want as long as it can generate a sine wave and it has like some type of noise oscillation to it. As long as it has that, you pretty much can make these types of things from scratch. So don't be don't be intimidated by the fact that I'm using Serum 2 and you don't have it. As long as you have a synth that is able of generating that, you'll be able to make it. So that's a disclaimer. Oh, sorry, I hit the mic. So that's disclaimer number 1. And disclaimer number 2 is I highly encourage active learning throughout this masterclass. So what that means is while you're sitting here and learning, you can either take notes or you can actually have the DAW open with the synth and be able to work alongside the masterclass. Because by actively learning, you're actually understanding a whole lot better why I'm doing what I'm doing. All right, it's a lot better than passively learning, which is literally just watching a tutorial just for the sake of watching a tutorial because it's entertaining. You know what I mean? With active learning, you'll be able to understand while you're making it why I'm doing what I'm doing, and then all you have to do is practice it from there, and then you'll be able to master it yourself. So those are the 2 disclaimers. I am seated. Yeah, well, I appreciate you being here, Chris. Cause I'm gonna be pretty honest. I didn't think anyone was gonna show up, but it's all good. So now, with all that being said, to recap on the tools that we're gonna be using. Of course, we're gonna be using Serum 2 to be able to create all this, and the reason why I'm using Serum 2 is because Serum 2 actually streamlines a whole lot of things when it comes to like layers with drums that just make it so much easier to just do it all in one synth rather than just having to make, different duplicates and copies of the same synth and then have to, make layers that way. At least you could do it all in one synth now with the help of 2 filters and 3 oscillators. So that's the reason why I'm using Serum 2. But again, like I said, you can use whatever synth you can use. So we're using this, and to be able to see like what our drum looks like in real time as we're creating it, we're going to use an oscilloscope. And the type of oscilloscope that I use is Syscope. I use Syscope Pro. It's, to me, one of the best oscilloscopes I've pretty much used, and it's only like $10 or $12. So pretty much just look it up, buy it, install it, and you'll be able to use it. But if you don't have this one, then any type of oscilloscope will pretty much be helpful, as long as you're able to see what you're doing in real time. All right, so we'll need that. And also, if you want to make like a whole lot, if you want to make a lot more unique sounding, like, drums or shaker type of loops and everything for your drum kits, I highly recommend this app on your phone. You'll probably have to find it in the store or something, but it's an app called Dolby On, okay? And it's pretty much just an app like this. And what Dolby On is it records stuff on your phone, right? So it's pretty much like a microphone for your phone, but it records it in such high quality that you can literally like record like anything in your environment, and you can use it as like a texture or ambience in your background and stuff. It's freaking crazy. I've actually used this to make a couple of my percussive sounds when I made Blammer drums, which of course, if you want to buy the Blammer drums, you can find that on my Gumroad. But yeah, I highly recommend getting Dolby on your phone, so that way anytime you're just out about just walking around doing your normal task and you hear something like in the background, it's like, oh man, that would sound cool in the background or sound cool in a song and everything, quickly record that stuff, man. You never know what type of sounds will spark inspiration. So now, with all that out of the way, let's start with making a kick drum. So, with the kick drum, there are... let me actually pull up a paint here, so that way I can actually demonstrate this. So let's use Yeah, let's use like a dark blue color right now. Alright, so there are 3 fundamental parts to a kick drum. Alright, so this will be the kick right here. So there are 3 parts. There's the transient. So we'll put T for transient. So there's the transient. Then there's the body. And then right on the top area right here, right within this top area and everything, there's just a tiny bit of noise. Just a tiny bit of noise and everything. So this is the body right here, so we'll put that as B. And this is what we like to call the top layer, so this will be the TL. Everything. This is the top layer. And the top layer just kind of adds extra presence and a lot more humanistic feeling to your drums and everything. You don't necessarily need a top layer if you really are not trying to go for that kind of sound. But for my kind of kick drums, I like having at least a little bit of a humanistic feel to it, so that way, you know, it just hits a little bit harder. So that's why I usually use a top layer. But for the most part, as long as you have a good transient and a good body, your kick will sound pretty much decent. Now, the transient is pretty much like the click that you'll hear at the very beginning of a kick. I'll actually show a demonstration once I actually show one of my kicks that I've made and stuff. So it'll be the very sharp click that you'll hear at the very beginning. And you may not think that the sharp click is actually useful or pretty much needed in any kind of way, but you will definitely see through demonstration why without that click in the beginning, like there's really like no like actual like thump or a lot of power when it comes to the kick. And so, because that freaking transient means a whole lot, bro. And the body will pretty much be the actual like full force of the thump. So it's like the boom, 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 boom. So that's going to be the body, but it's also the length of it as well. So pretty much if you want a short kick or you want like a hard style long kick and all stuff. So you either want it to be kick like boom, 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 or boom, 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 boom. That's pretty much what the whole body's going to be. It's pretty much the length of the kick as well as how powerful you want the thump to be. So those are the 3 layers. And for the transient, depending on the type of kick that you want to make, the transient has to go in like certain milliseconds in order for it to really achieve that type of sound you're going for. So let's just say, for example, you want to make like a hybrid trap kick. If you want to make a hybrid trap kick, I would say somewhere around like 2 milliseconds to about 3 milliseconds of a transient, and that'll be just good enough for having a hybrid trap kick. But if you want like a dubstep kick, like something that you really want to like really hit hard, then I highly recommend it being from like 3 to about 6 milliseconds. So pretty much have your transients range from about 2 milliseconds to about 6 milliseconds, and you can make a different variety of kicks, where it be like a hybrid trap kick or even a dubstep kick. Now, I would say the only time you really don't need a transient in a kick is if you're trying to make like a hip-hop style kick. So if you're trying to make like a hip-hop style kick, most of those kicks don't really have like a harsh like click at the beginning and everything. It's mostly just all body, just like the thump and how long you want the kick to be and all that stuff. So if you want to make like hip-hop kicks, then yeah, you really don't need it, but it's definitely recommended if you're making like electronic music. So that's pretty much what the fundamentals of a kick are. So as long as you have like a sine wave and you follow these 3 steps, the transient, the body, and the top layer, you pretty much can create it with any kind of synth you want. But now that we have this knowledge, let's go ahead and make one from scratch. So I already chose one for, let's just say, an E note. Doesn't matter which note you pretty much go for, just as long as you go for, I guess, around, let me take this, snap the grid off. I'd say around like C sharp to around, to about F. C sharp to about F, those would be the perfect tones for your kick. But for this demonstration, I'd say let's go for like a D sharp. D sharp should be pretty good. So we have our fundamental sine wave here. So let's first off start with making the body. So we'll take one LFO, we'll put it to envelope mode. Make kind of like a small curve like this, because we're going to try and make, let's just say, a dubstep kick at first. So we're going to take this and we're going to put this onto the level. And this will control pretty much the length of the kick. And in order for us to see this in real time, we'll see this through side scope here. And you see how it's like alternating all the time like this? That's mainly because we have randomization on. And you don't want to have a random phasing on whenever you're making drums. You do not want that, because that will literally, because as soon as you get a kick that you know is good and you don't record it right then and there and you have random phase on, you're gonna have a bad time. So if you want to be a constant same note, take randomization off. And you'll be able to keep it constant. All right, so let's extend this out a little bit more. So let's go back inside the LFO. Yeah, like somewhere right there. And if you want to have even much more precision control over your kick, is switch this to Hertz mode, and you'll definitely be able to have a lot more precision control over how long your kick's going to be. There's nothing wrong with using a BPM if you feel that's easier for you. But me personally, I want to have precision control on how short and how long I want my kicks and snares to be. So that's why I usually use Hertz mode. For subtype kicks, is that all body? Yeah, pretty much. It's literally all body when it comes to sub kicks. And this isn't necessarily a kick itself. It's literally just, setting up the body so far. So right now we have to also add the pitch variation onto it, which will actually give it the thump that will really give it like a good subby kick. And you'll see the magic right here. So now what we'll do is we'll take another LFO, put the Hertz mode, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a curve, something like this. If you've ever used the plugin Kick 2, I forgot who named it. Oh, Sonic Academy. Yeah, Sonic Academy. If you've ever used Kick 2 by Sonic Academy, their kick drum usually has like an envelope section, kind of like this, with this kind of curve. And what this does is it creates a high-pitched thump at the very top and everything. If you follow the curve right here, it creates a very high-pitched, lasery hit at the beginning, like choo, 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 which really gives it that extra bit of a thump. Then it hits it right in the middle, so that way you feel like the actual body of the kick, and then it decays outward. So that way it literally feels like, okay, if you really like were to kick it on a kick drum, you literally feel every freaking part of that, like boom, boom, boom. So what we're gonna do now is put that LFO onto the coarse pitch right here. And a shortcut to switch this from bipolar to unipolar, just hold Shift Alt and click. And now that switches it from bipolar to unipolar. So we're gonna have it on unipolar here. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Now we got a subby kick. And we can just adjust the coarse pitch a little bit more just to give it a lot more attack. All right, cool. I kind of like how that goes. All right, so pretty much as of right now, we now have the body. This is what the whole body of a kick drum is supposed to look like. Hey, appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. Yeah, my mouth's not working today. I appreciate that, Prom. For those of you who don't know, it's actually my affiliate anniversary over on Twitch and everything, so appreciate that, Prom. Glad you could join the Masterclass, man. How's your day been today, bro? Can you react to my song on Russian language? We're doing it. We're doing a Masterclass today, bro. There's no reactions today, man. I'm sorry, bro. But I appreciate you stopping by, man. Is this your first affiliate anniversary? No, it isn't, bro. It's actually I think it's like my 4th. Yeah, I think it's actually like my 4th affiliate anniversary. So I've been doing it for a while, bro. All right, so now that we have the body of the kick, right? So we have the body of the kick now. Now we're gonna work on getting the transient. And the transient is the harsh click that's at the beginning of the kick. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the envelopes for this. So we're going to take release down, the sustain down, decay down, and attack down. And we're going to use the hold right here. And we're going to put this at 2 milliseconds. And if you want, you can zoom with this. Zoom all the way in. So you can see just how small this is. And then we'll take a macro. Put that onto the hold. And we'll drag it down until we see about, I'd say like 6 milliseconds. Yeah, right around there. Bam. 6 milliseconds. Boom. So let's actually just put it all the way up just so that way we can see the full on 6 millisecond transient. So now we're going to zoom all the way in with this. But I'm doing good. Got a haircut today. Now he just came back from the spring festival in town. Ooh, nice, bro. I bet that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I bet you're looking fresh now with the fresh cut and everything. But yeah, so now we're gonna take this LFO, well, not LFO. We're gonna take the envelope, and we're gonna put this envelope onto the level of the noise right here. So now you see right here, there's a little bit of a noise right here. But it's only for like a split second, because it's in milliseconds. This is where your transient's going to be. But the question is how do we create the transient to have it be like a click rather than just this noise sample where it's just something like psh, 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 psh. We want to literally like have a click to it. Well, a good way to do that is we're going to route this into filter 1, and in filter 1 we're going to use a bandpass filter. And we're going to take envelope 3 here. We're going to take envelope down, take the sustain down, take the attack down, and we're going to take the decay down a little bit. Somewhere to around, I would say almost like 100 milliseconds, somewhere around there. Then we're going to put this envelope onto the cutoff of the bandpass. And we're going to have it go from the very bottom. It's starting at the very bottom, but because the way we have the envelope set up, it's going to start from the very top and then quickly go down, so that way it literally makes it sound like a laser sound, like something like that. And let me get this onto a repeat. Yeah, I got it onto a loop so that way we can see it better. And let's take this sine wave off, where you only want to affect the noise here. And then we'll adjust the decay a little bit. Alright, cool. Alright, cool. Hey, Jimenez, man. Welcome to the Masterclass, bro. How's your day been? So now that we got the transient set up, we're going to set the drive up. That way we can hear a lot more of it come through. Now you'll be able to see it really pop through the oscilloscope. And then we can even adjust it even more by putting the level up. But I think for now we'll just keep it. We'll just keep it leveled out. Now, as you can see right here, as you can see from the transient, and it's leading into the kick, there's a little bit of sharpness right here. That pretty much means that the sine wave and the transient are colliding together. And sometimes that's not really a bad thing, but me personally, because I like having, my kicks be clean sometimes, I really don't like it having any clashing problems right there. So how do we fix that? Well, how do we do that? We just go into where the body is right here, and all we gotta do is just adjust the curve right here, and then extend it out just a little bit more. Bam! Now everything is solid and even. So, this is why having a transient is so important, because without the transient, this is what the kick sounds like. Oh, you day, isn't it? Like, just just a whole like subby kick. Now, if you're looking for a subby kick, cool. That's all you need. Is just, you know, just a little bit of pitch modulation and a little bit of control over your how long you want it, and you're pretty much good to go. Hey, I appreciate the follow, Jan's Lounge. Hey, Jan's Lounge bought it. The Jazz Lounge bot has arrived. Damn, my mouth cannot work today. What the heck's wrong with me? Oh, man. Oh, I figured it was you, Prominent. I logged into my bot account to get you to 700 followers. Hey, that's awesome, man. Let's get it. Now we're at 700 followers on Twitch, bro. Let's freaking go, man. Hell yeah. Affiliate anniversary and make it to 700. Let's freaking get it, bro. But yeah. Yeah, I really appreciate that, man. But yeah, so without the transient, right? Without the transient, it's literally just like a subby kick, right? Like this. But with the transient, now it really has like a lot more presence to it because it has that, you know, it just has that click at the beginning. And if you ever want to adjust how your transient wants to look or sound, all you have to do is adjust the cutoff and adjust the decay on the envelope 3. Ooh, okay, that actually sounds better like that. Alright, cool. So now we got the transient and we got the body. Right? So we got those. So now, what do we have left? So now we have the top layer here. So the top layer, how I normally will go about using a top layer is we'll go ahead and use oscillator B here. We'll take a sample and let's just take like a random, like, let's just say a virtual ride, like ride sample or something. Yeah, something like that. Alright, and we'll right click onto the pitches and enable pitch tracking so that way it just stays as a regular sample. And what we'll do here is we'll take a high pass filter so that way we only have like just the top layers of this. And then we'll route this into filter 2. This is where the magic happens. We're going to take filter 2 and go to a ring mod. Because see, without the ring mod, it sounds like this. But with it, Like now it just kind of meshes with the entire kick drum so much better. And sometimes we really don't want this top layer to kind of ring out throughout the entire kick. So what we'll do is grab another LFO, go to envelope mode, go to Hertz, create a curve somewhere right here, and put that onto the level. Alright, cool. So without the top layer, this is pretty much what it would sound like. You know, just kind of, you know, just a regular sounding kick, right? But with the top layer now, now it kind of adds a little bit of extra presence to it. Masterclass on how to max out all your LFOs. Oh man. Heck, I have yet to try and max out all of my LFOs, so I probably can't make a masterclass on that yet. But when I do, you'll be the first to know. Alright, cool. So pretty much we got the fundamentals down. So we got a transient, a body, and a top layer. So now that we got those, let's go ahead and drop a distortion on there and go for a soft clip. Put the drive up a little bit, and then put the level up. Nice. And then we'll add extra utility on here. Bring it up just a little bit more. And if we want to, and what I also realized in Serum 2 now is if you want to have something that acts like a little bit of a disperser effect, you can actually use bode as one. By just keeping it like this, you're pretty much acting. This pretty much acts as its own disperser effect. It's only once you start affecting the shift and the range and the direction and all stuff that it becomes a frequency shifter. But if you just kept it just like this, it acts like a tiny bit of a disperser. But in this case, I'll probably just keep it off for now. And now, if we just want to mess around with pretty much the different rates and the different LFOs, we can create the kick in many different formations. Ooh. Nice. Alright, and we'll adjust the body here. All right, cool. I think that sounds pretty decent. So now that we have that, if you have an Edison on your master, all you gotta do is just go to on play and hit record, and bam. Oh. And now we have our very first kick drum. So if you've pretty much been following along in the masterclass, you pretty much should have something similar to this. And yeah, that actually sounds pretty decent. I like how that sounds. So that's pretty much what a dubstep kick would sound like. Just something really like hard hitting and full of presence and in your face. Now, if we want to make, let's just say, like a hybrid trap kick. We want to make a hybrid trap kick. Now, what we'll have to do is make the transient a little bit shorter. So let's go inside of here. Move the macro down to possibly like 2 milliseconds. Pull up side scope so we can see what's going on. And probably put this up a little bit more. And again, we don't want it to clash too much with the transient, otherwise you won't hear it. It takes a little bit of trial and error to get it, but we'll get it just right on the money, and then we'll move on. Alright, so like something close to that. Give the transient a little taper fade. For real, man. And then we can add like an extra top layer on that. And this time we can make it go in a little bit quicker. And we can even choose a different layer if we want, so. Ooh, I actually like how that sounds. Alright, cool. And just to give this some extra flavor, we'll take like a transient processor and really give that click some extra oomph to it. And then if we want to make it like super unique or super just out of this world, we can just drive the distortion up. And definitely hybrid trap kicks definitely go harder when you use a hard clip instead of a soft clip. Alright, cool. Cool, I like how that sounds. So let's go ahead. Record those. And now we have a hybrid trap kick. So now we got a dubstep kick and a hybrid trap kick. And as you can see, there's a huge difference between them in terms of not only just their transients and their body shape, but just how, you know, powerful and full of presence they are. Now, if you want to go just full on, just, hey, I want to make a hip-hop type of kick, or maybe just a, like a lo-fi-ish type of kick or something, then you really don't need a transient. You really don't need a transient, so we could take that off. And we'll take the transient processor off. So pretty much you just take the transient off, and now you pretty much have just a regular like thump kick that you would hear in like hip hop. Just kind of move the body all the way up to the beginning, since you don't really have a transient taking up that space. Just move it all the way to the beginning. And if you really don't want like an extra added layer or a top layer onto it, you can just turn that off. And then just like alright, let's go side scope. Let's mess around with the top layer right here. Alright, let's go for you know what? Let's try it. Let's try it. Let's use a shaker. That's a crunchy ass kick. Hey, but now one bites with the gifted sub to Queen. Let's get it. Now, I appreciate that very much, Banana White Bites. Appreciate you stopping by the stream. Or I should say Masterclass. Happy affiliate anniversary. I appreciate it very much. I appreciate it very much. Hopefully your stream went by really well after everything. Let's see. No, I don't need the cheap viewers, bruh. Get out of here. Anyways, so this is pretty much how you would make like a this is pretty much how you would make a like a hip hop-ish kind of kick or something like that. It's just you don't even need a transient, you just need a good body and all that stuff. And if you want to add like a top layer to it, you can add the top layer to it. Okay, yeah, I think that sounds good like that. I think that sounds good. Be gone, bot, for real. Just got back from dinner with friends. Oh, nice. It's actually going really good. Pretty much what we're doing right now is I'm doing a drum design masterclass for my YouTube, so I'm actually live on my YouTube right now as well. But I'm doing a drum design masterclass just so that way anyone who watches the live stream later on, if they wanted to learn how to make their drums from scratch, then, you know, they have a masterclass that they can follow. So for the people who haven't made it to the stream, if you're just now watching this, you know, this masterclass is made for you. So that way, if you ever wanted to make drums from scratch, this is how you do it. Well, this is how I go about doing it. This is literally how I made my Blammer drums. So feel free to just take whatever's useful for you and just use it in your own way. So yeah, there's a good hip hop kick. So we'll go ahead and sample that out. And there we go. We got hip hop kick. We got dubstep kick. And we got a hybrid trap kick. And we can even use these later on in the masterclass to, you know, test them out and see if they're worthy and stuff. So we'll just go ahead and delete those. And now, so now we pretty much gone through the kick drums now. So now we know how to make kick drums from scratch. Now we move on to snares. So snares, let's go ahead and delete all this now. See, let's go grab a... Yeah, I probably should create a layer for that. Yeah, just in case. Alright, so now we're gonna move on to, let's make this yeah, we can just make it red or something. So now we're gonna move on to the snares. So snares have pretty much kind of like kick drums, right? Kind of like kick drums, it has 3 layers to it. So this time we have a transient, we have a body, and instead of a top layer, we have what's known as a tail. So we got a transient, a body, and a tail. And just like with the kick drums, we're using, you know, sine waves. We're pretty much using sine waves, but the difference between kick drums and snares is snares are actually made at a higher frequency rather than kick drums. Like kick drums are more for like the low end and stuff, so it's more like so it's more for like the low end, but snares pretty much take up like the mid frequency to the high frequencies, mainly due to their, you know, to the body and the tail. The tail pretty much takes up the majority of the high ends, whereas the body is more for like the mid section and just gives it that extra punch. So the body of a snare will most likely be around, I would say, at max and everything, like the main snare frequency that you'll always see a lot of snares end up in is usually like 200 hertz. It's usually around 200 hertz, but I've been seeing a lot of new snares lately that have been coming out ever since like 2022 going upwards, and they literally range from 200 hertz to about 600 hertz. So pretty much it can range from like a regular snare to like what I would like to call the frequency of a clomp snare. And if you don't know what a clomp snare is, if you've ever listened to like Jack U's music and everything, like, you know, Skrillex and Diplo, if you ever listen to their music, the type of snares they use like the cloop, 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 like those types of snares, that's a clomp snare. Those usually sit around like 500 to 600 hertz. So from around 200 hertz to 600 hertz, that's usually where you'll see most snares sit at. So knowing this, we got a transient, body, and a tail. Let's go ahead and make one from scratch. So this one is our kick right here. So we'll go ahead and name this one the kick. And we'll give it like a bluish color. Now load up another Serum. And we'll use the default shapes. Go to a sine wave. And instead of going on a low note, we'll go to about, I'd say, alright, let me pull up an EQ for this. Perfect. So pretty much the key of A4 is 200 hertz. So this is where natural, like most snares would hit at, is 200 hertz. But if you want to go a little bit higher, so normally right around there, close to like 500 hertz, is usually where like some of the newer snares hit at. But if you want a default snare, well, let's go with 200 hertz. So we'll start right there for now. So just like with the kick drum, we'll be using a few of these LFOs to make this happen. So I have one be the body, and this will be the length of it. And then we'll put it on envelope, put it to hertz mode. Alright, and then let's pull up the size scope and take randomization phase off. Right, then we'll have another LFO, and this will go onto the coarse pitch, but unlike kick drums, where you're gonna have an LFO that's kind of like this, we won't really need this for making snare drums, at least in terms of how I make them. You can still use it if you want to, but because it's already sitting at like mid to high frequencies already, you really don't need to add like an extra tonal layer to that. So just keep it all the way down if you need to. But go ahead, add that to hertz, put down the coarse pitch, do shift, alt, and click to make it go to unipolar mode. And we got already a good thump for the body. Let's go ahead and go back into here and have it loop a little bit. And we'll also rename this snare. Make that go somewhere like there. Bam. Cool. And if you really want to add like an extra click to it, you can just have the coarse pitch go a little bit up. Well, the coarse pitch LFO, I mean. That way it really gives it like a little bit of extra hit to like boop, 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 like that. Alright, cool. Now we're going to take the noise oscillator, and just like how we did with the kick before, we'll make that go to filter 1. Have this go to a bandpass filter. We're going to use the envelopes here. Take release down, sustain down, decay down, attack down, and put the hold up to about 3 milliseconds. We can zoom in and see how small it is. And then we put that envelope onto the noise. Oh, and be sure to take oscillator A off of it. Hey, Brilliance, glad you could join the stream, bro. Welcome to the Masterclass, man. Alright, now we're going to adjust the body here a little bit, give it a little bit of a delay so that we can hear the transient come in. Right, then we're going to take another envelope, release down, decay a little bit right there, somewhere around 50 milliseconds, attack all the way down, sustain all the way down, put that onto the cutoff, then put the drive up. Now you can see the transient. And now I'm adjusting the transient so that way we get a nice, good little click at the beginning. Alright, so cool. I think that should be pretty good. And just to adjust this a little bit more. Put that up like that. Alright, so right here I put a macro onto the hold right here, and I adjusted it until it went to, at max, about 6 milliseconds. You really don't need about 6 milliseconds of transient if you really don't want to on your snares, but me personally, I like to keep it around like 3 milliseconds to about 4 milliseconds. It's not necessarily for you to hear the transient, it's just for you to feel it, you know what I mean? Alright, so cool. So we got pretty much the transient going. We could probably adjust the level up a little bit more. Yeah, probably just like that. Alright, now we're going to take... So now we got the transient and we got the body now. What's the last step, guys? What's the last part of the snare? The tail, yep. So now we're going to go to a sample. And we'll go inside of the new Serum 2 noises. And we'll go use a pink noise mono. We won't use stereo because stereo will cause phase issues. Mono is best for this. So now we got noise going through, and we'll take one LFO, have it adjust quite like this, a little bit, put it on Hertz mode, and we'll put this onto the level. And we'll also put this to envelope mode so that way it actually hits it once. And we pretty much got a fundamental snare like that. But we're going to take it a little bit further by routing this into filter 2. Put a high pass filter on it. All right, so we got this at about 3 hertz, and I want to adjust this with a macro to get it to about, I'd say, around 5 hertz. 5 hertz should be good enough. Yeah, 5 hertz is good. So from 3 hertz to 5 hertz, that's the best type of length you can get for your tail if you want to try to make like dubstep snares to hybrid trap snares. Alright, then we're going to take another LFO, right? We're going to take another one. We're going to put one in the middle like this. Alright, let me do this shit again. I actually messed up. But yeah, let's go ahead. Make like a ramp. And what we'll do is hold Alt. And we'll create like an alternating LFO like this. And we'll put this onto the cutoff of the high pass filter. And pretty much what this LFO is doing is simulating, for the tail, it's simulating when, like, okay, we got a picture like a real life drum kit here. So when you hit the snare drum, right, you initially get the impact, and the tail that you hear from the snare, right, it usually comes with the impact first before it kind of like trails off into like a high end kind of register. And awesome. So that's pretty much what this LFO is simulating. It's simulating the noise when it first hits the snare drum, and then when you pull away from it. Because without this kind of modulation, it just sounds like this. Just kind of feels like super static, you know what I mean? But once you actually add this type of movement to it, now you can really feel the impact. Alright, cool. So now that we got that going, we're gonna take an equalizer and pretty much using I would say the pitch LFO right here. We'll probably be using this one to adjust the gain on the top end, so that way we give a lot more presence to the tail and the transient. So we just drag that over to the gain, shift alt click for it to be unipolar, and we don't need it to go all the way up. We just want it to be very subtle, so we'll just adjust it very slowly. Matter of fact, actually, we'll just go ahead, remove modulation. We'll just add an extra LFO, and we'll just create like a short little attack like that. Shift alt click. Yeah, that's much better. And we'll also have one right here. And what's cool about Serum 2 is you can actually see the frequency spectrum inside of this section here just by clicking on it. So you see the little thumb part right here. we can add a little bit more emphasis to that by using the same LFO, Shift Alt click, and adjust it slowly. And again, you don't want these to be like super overblown. You want them to be very subtle. Now, if you want to go full blown, that's completely fine. That's up to you. I'm just showing the way I would go about making them. Alright, cool. Then we'll go ahead and grab a compressor on here. And we won't use a multi-band because we're most likely just, you know, making a drum sample, so drum samples don't really need multi-band compression. But if you want to try that, that's good for you. But single band compression is good for drums. Alright, and then we'll adjust the gain. Alright, then we'll add a little bit of a hard clipping to it. And then adjust the level up. Let's actually try soft clipping. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, soft clipping. Soft clipping is definitely the way to go. I thought it was hard clipping, that would sound good, but hard clipping does sound good sometimes, but soft clipping, probably best for this type of snare. Right, and then we can just adjust the levels a little bit. Probably adjust the body a little bit. And we can even adjust it. We can even try this out, right? With one of the kicks we made. So we can do something like this. Oh, that's the wrong pattern. And if we want to adjust, if we want to adjust the kind of like the tone of the snare, we can just change the note from within the piano roll, or we can just do it via the semitones inside of Serum. So pretty much we can take another macro here, put that onto the semitones, and probably put it up to about 5. And then we can adjust the tail a little bit. And adjust the impact a little bit. And I'll probably put this to like... Alright. Okay, yeah, so for something like this, we would definitely need to use BPM for the impact going into the high end. And adjust it. Let's up a little bit more. Let's try something a little bit lower. Okay. Okay, so sometimes going a little bit lower can really make your drums sound a little bit meatier. And which I wonder what hertz that's in. Actually, let me go ahead and pull this up. Oh, so that's around 180 and stuff, so you can actually go a little bit lower, but like I said, the fundamental snare tone is 200 hertz, but feel free to adjust it as you go for whatever type of tone you're going for. But you know what? I like how that snare sounds. I like how that snare sounds, so we'll go with it. So go ahead, record that. And now we got our snare. Cool. So hey, we made kicks and snares right now from scratch. So if you've been following along, been actively learning in the masterclass right now, you should pretty much have at least a couple good kicks and a snare right now. And if you want to make let's just say like hip hop type of snares, you normally don't really need, you know, a transient like that. You normally don't need that. So let's go for, sorry here, let's get this. Oh shit, I'm still on the audio. So you really don't need the transient. All you need is to adjust the body. Adjust the... Well, I guess, yeah, you could use a tiny, you could use a tiny one if you want to. Like a tiny little transient. But mostly like hip-hop type of snares, they usually have like a smaller tail. And they're also higher in tone sometimes. And just to take care of any extra low frequencies, if you don't want them in your snare, sometimes you want them, other times you don't. Just go ahead and add an extra equalizer on here and just add a high pass filter on there. Excuse me. And you just adjust it to take care of all the low ends. Yeah, so something like that. Something like that. So let's go with that. Now you got stuff like a hip-hop snare. You can even use this for like hybrid trap and everything. So if you wanted to do like a hybrid trap type of groove or something, then let's see, let's go for one of the other ones. Yeah, so there you go. Now you have something for a hybrid trap. And we also have something for like dubstep. So you can definitely see the difference. If you see right here, let me go ahead and delete all this. You can definitely see the difference between what a hybrid trap snare would be like and a dubstep snare. Like dubstep snares, their tails pretty much last a little bit longer, so that way, you know, it really gives it that feeling. So the tails last longer, and the bodies have a lot more impact. Whereas hybrid trap snares, their bodies are not really, you know, all that present like that. They're not really like there for impact. They're literally there just to like really intensify the rhythm. But sometimes you can have hard-hitting hybrid trap snares, and heck, they'll be cool and shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's pretty much the fundamentals of making snare drums. So, recapping the snare drums. So the snare drum has 3 parts to it: the transient, the body, and the tail. And the transient usually sits around 3 milliseconds to about 4 milliseconds. And then you have a short body, so it's not necessarily not like, you know, super long bodies, just super short, just there to really add the impact of it. So we have a short body, and then we have a tail. And the tail can pretty much be, if you want it to be a dubstep snare, then the tail can be, you know, pretty long. And if you want it to be like a hybrid trap snare, it could be pretty short. Depending on whatever type of snare you're trying to make, you'll have to adjust the tail accordingly. And the fundamental tone, okay? The fundamental tone for most snares sits at 200 hertz to about, I know I said 600 hertz, but it's actually close to about 500 hertz. So yeah, instead of 600, it's actually 200 to 500 hertz, because that's usually like the highest you can have like most snares go. But you can also adjust it lower, because we had our dubstep snare be at like 180 hertz, and it still freaking sounded good. So you can still adjust it lower than it or higher than it. Again, it's all up to you, but that's just the fundamental hertz frequency. So as long as you have it sitting in there, your snare is going to really come out and be present. All right. So we made some kicks and we made some snares. All right, we've been learning for a good while and everything. We'll take a short little intermission. Everyone, take a step back. Review your notes. Do a little bit of practicing for a little bit on the kicks and snares. We'll come back and we'll do hi-hats, rides, and some top loops, and we'll pretty much call it the masterclass right there. So let's take a short intermission, and we'll be right back, guys. And we back to the masterclass. Right, so to recap, we just did making kicks from scratch, the whole fundamentals of a kick, how it's made, and we also did the same for snares. Okay? Next, we're going to work on hi-hats. So let's load up another Serum. Now, hi-hats are honestly, in my personal opinion, literally the easiest thing you can make. This is literally the easiest thing you can make. As long as you have the right type of noise. As long as you have the right type of noise sample or something that's just in the higher frequencies, you literally can create any type of hi-hat that you want. But my go-to sound is pink noise. So we'll just go to Serum 2's noises. We'll go to pink noise, mono. And what we'll do is, since it's going to be noise, we pretty much, it doesn't really matter what key we put it in because it's just going to be noise no matter what. Alright, so most hi-hats, alright, so let's pull up the EQ here because it's really important to really know what hertz and frequencies certain sounds are at in order for you to make the type of drum you want. So as we can see, pink noise mono usually sits around in the high frequencies, which is really dope because that's literally what we need for making hi-hats. But most hi-hats don't really need all of these frequencies. They really don't. It's literally just within about, I would say, 3K, right about the 3K all the way up to 12K hertz. That's where most hi-hats usually sit at. So how do we get there? Well, let's go ahead, add this to a filter, put this to a high-pass filter, and let's adjust it. Oh, and if you ever wanted to know, like, how people have made, like, riser up sweeps and everything, if you ever wanted to make, like, your own riser sweeps, that's literally how you do it. Is just take a high pass filter and just sweep it up. And that's usually how you do up sweeps and everything. So that's a little bonus right there. That's a little bonus. But yeah, let's adjust this till we get right around there. Right around the, I'd say like the 6,000 hertz mark. So right around here, this is usually like where the fundamental frequencies of a hi-hat would be. So now that we found the fundamental frequency, all we have to do now is take one LFO, make like a short little LFO like this, put that onto the level, and you get instant hi-hats. And depending on how, like, gritty or dark you want your hi-hats to sound like, you just adjust the cutoff frequency. All right, then let's go ahead, put the drive up a little bit. All right, and then let's go add a little bit of distortion on there. Probably just a little bit of soft clipping. And if you really want to give your hi-hat just a little bit of a more humanistic feel, you go into a ring mod. So if there's ever a note you need to take, okay, here is a fundamental note that you want to like highlight and probably put in bold if you're actually typing this down right now, okay? Ring mod is your friend for making things sound humanistic. Let me repeat that. Ring mod is your friend for making things sound humanistic. Okay? So if you ever want to make your drums have a little bit of a humanistic feel to it, and you want like a top layer to it to sound a little bit more natural and stuff, ring mod, baby. Alright, let's go ahead and put this in envelope mode. Right, perfect. That actually sounds like the hi-hat I want. So let's go ahead, record that out. Now we got our hi-hat. So we can pretty much use this in conjunction with some of the kicks we've done. Oh shit. There we go. We just made a cool little hi-hat. Look at that, bro. And then you can just play around with it if you want. Add your own little grooves to it. So that's pretty much how you would create like closed hi-hats. But if you want to make like open hi-hats, it's pretty much really simple. So you know how this is a closed hi-hat because it's a closed loop or a closed curve? Well, if you want to make it an open hi-hat, you just open the curve. So let's go back over here. Now you just open the curve. Now you have an open hi-hat. And we can even try it in conjunction with the other hi-hats to see how it sounds. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that. So go ahead and record that out. Now we got a closed hi-hat and an open hi-hat. Alright, then we can just add the drums on it. We'll actually adjust these real quick. So pretty much there you go. Like, that's pretty much how you make hi-hats. Like, it's literally that simple. As long as you know the fundamental hertz and you just have it be very short in attack and all stuff, then you pretty much make good hi-hats like that. But this is pretty much how you make like dubstep hi-hats. Now, if you want to make like, let's just say, hybrid trap type of hi-hats, then those ones will need at least we'll need a bandpass filter for that one. So let's go ahead and adjust this real quick. So let's use a bandpass filter on this one. Probably go for a 24. And for most like hybrid trap ones, you don't really need like ring mod to make it sound realistic, because you know most trap hi-hats kind of sound synthetic already, so you really don't need to add that. Now if you want to add it, kudos, and you want to do that. But if you want to make it more authentic sounding, then yeah, you can just take it off. Yeah, we'll definitely need a bandpass 24 for this one. Let's see. Are you just focusing on drums, or do you plan to build a beat using the created drums? That could actually be at the very end of the masterclass, bro. I probably might just do that. Actually, thank you for the inspiration on that one. But yeah, we'll see about it, man, because you already see how I'm kind of like, you know, as I'm making it, I'm testing it out as I go and all that stuff, so that way we can see, you know, how they correlate with one another. So yeah, we might even build a beat off of it, bro. But yeah, the whole point of the masterclass, is just so that way if anybody wanted to learn how to make your own drums from scratch, there's a whole video for it on YouTube that you can watch and, you know, go through it and see, and just, you'll learn from it. That's the whole point of the masterclass, bro. And also it's to help, you know, other fellow music producers if they wanted to learn how to do it anyways. But yeah, we'll definitely see what we can make with it afterwards. Alright, so we'll probably need to play like super fast hi-hats. And we'll actually have a macro adjusted on this one, so that way we can... And then we can try the hybrid trap ones on this one. And we can just adjust the bandpass filter. All right, cool. So something like that. So that'll pretty much be the closed hi-hat for like a trap type of beat. Hey, there we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, so sorry, when I end up making something dope, I get excited. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So now now that we have like a closed trap hi-hat, just like with the other open hi-hats, how do we make an open hi-hat? We open up the curve. So like, it could be like right there. So then we just open it up. Yep, that's it. All right, so cool. So we'll go ahead, record that out. Yeah, we'll just make it that short. Let's go inside of Edison. And now we have an open hi-hat. There we go. So now we made dubstep hi-hats that go along with this. And we made hybrid trap drums with the hi-hats that go along with that. So there we go. We're cooking so far. We're cooking so far. If you've been following along in the masterclass so far, we've been cooking so far, man. All right. So now that we got those, we're gonna work on what I would like to call. Let's go for. We'll make this the hi-hat. And for this, we'll probably just make it like olive or something. Alright, and then for the next one, we're gonna do like a top loop. Matter of fact, before we actually do that, I actually want to make a like a ride cymbal. So we're gonna make a ride cymbal first, and then we'll work on making like a top loop, which is pretty much kind of like a little shaker loop that you can use as like a quick go-to to add some groove to your drums. But yeah, first let's go and work with a ride cymbal. Now ride cymbals can be pretty tricky. They can be pretty tricky, but if you know exactly the right kind of tone you're going for, you can really get it. But like always, we'll just go for a pink noise mono. And ride cymbals usually go for like. But what I want to try and do is create like a ride loop in a way, where it's kind of like. So in order to do that, I'm gonna have to create a BPM LFO, put it to 1/2. And have one be quieter than the first one. The first one's gonna be the initial hit where it's like, but then the second one's gonna be kind of like, you know, when you're like an actual drummer, it's like something like that. So let's go. Probably add this to. Oh, this is the hi-hats and stuff, but we'll just adjust that out for this. See. No volume? Is there really no volume on that end? Hey, can someone over on Twitch go over to YouTube and check it real quick? All right. I heard. Okay. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Chris. Check one on YouTube. Oh no, it's just someone in the YouTube chat was saying there was no volume, so I was just seeing if someone wanted to check it. But Chris got it for me, man. So yeah, I appreciate that, bro. All right, so pretty much that's the length I kind of like want to go for with this. And honestly, this alone kind of sounds. This honestly sounds kind of like what a ride cymbal would sound like already, but we'll just adjust it with the high pass filter so that way it actually has a lot more character to it. Then we'll go inside of here and get an equalizer. I think because you were switching the Serum node over to the hi-hat to the right, there wasn't any sound for a second. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that would definitely make sense. Alright, then we'll take this LFO, Shift, Alt, click, so that way it goes to unipolar. And that should just give a little bit of extra emphasis on the high end. Now, if we add that to, let's just say, the drum. This one actually has the click on it, so probably have to use the other one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this one, I'm actually using the hybrid trap snare for this one. Let's try the other one. There we go. Alright, and just to give it a little bit of naturalistic release, we're gonna take we're gonna take another LFO, put that inside the middle, and once again do the Alt, click and drag, and I'll give it a nice little curve. Now, with rides, you don't really need it to be like a little bit, like, you don't need it to be very extreme. You just need it just a little bit so that way you at least get a little bit of an impact feel with your ride. Alright, and then sometimes I kind of mess up when it comes to this, but there is a way to get like a ringy kind of tone by using a lot of FM when you use sine waves together. But sometimes I kind of mess it up, so don't take my word for it. Ow, sorry. So we're gonna have this FM to B. Now we'll have this this LFO. Copy that over to LFO3, and you could do that by just holding Alt and then clicking and dragging to the next LFO, and you pretty much get the same LFO. And we'll just bring this in subtly. Okay, I guess it did work the way I thought it would. So now it creates like a tonal layer inside of your ride, so that way yeah, it kind of gives it that extra tonal layer. Alright, then we'll take the randomization off. Alright, cool. So we'll go ahead and take that. And we'll drop that into the SN. And now we have our ride cymbals. Nice. So now that we got the ride cymbals, got that out of the way. Now that we've got the ride cymbals, let's go ahead and create pretty much like a shaker loop, or what I like to call a top loop, that you can pretty much drag and drop into your mix to instantly create a groove. I love the sound of the ride cymbal. Heck yeah, man. And it's something we literally made live in the masterclass. Literally made it live for everyone to see. So now to create this like shaker loop or top loop, we'll actually go ahead and save this one. We'll call this the ride. Alright, let's load up another Serum. And for this one, once again, we'll just be using the noise for this one. And for this one, you pretty much can use any noise you want, because shaker loops and top loops and everything come in all types of different textures. But just for consistency's sake, we'll be using pink noise. But just know that you could use any type of noise you want for this process. All right. Alright, so let's go ahead, take the right symbol off of this. Alright, now, trying to make these kinds of loops and everything does take a little bit of tweaking sometimes, but it pretty much just revolves around two things. One LFO is controlling pretty much like the rhythm of the level of the noise, whereas another LFO is controlling the rhythm and the speed of a filter. And that's usually how most good top loops that pretty much I've been making, that's pretty much how they've been made. Like, for example, I'll actually pull up one that I made, I think, like, pretty much 2 days ago. Like, something like this. Like, this is literally just using some noise and adjusting the filter as I go, along with some rhythm, along with adjusting the rhythm of the actual LFO. And I could pretty much drop this into something like this hybrid trap beat, and it would sound like this. So it literally instantly creates a groove for you just by dragging and dropping it on top of your drums. So that's pretty much what we're going to be creating next. Alright, so for this one, we'll create one LFO. And we'll adjust this so the vertical lines right here go up to about 16. And we'll using these options right here, we're gonna take the left click tool right here, make it into a ramp down. Hold Alt, and then just make all these sharp edges. And we can even use Alt to adjust them all together whenever you want to adjust their curves. Now we're just going to add that to the level here. Hey, airplane! Alright. So now we're going to adjust this to bar. And then we can adjust some of these so that way we can create a certain type of rhythm to go with it. So we got a cool little rhythm like that. Now we're going to feed that into filter 1. And we'll probably adjust this to be like a bandpass filter. And then we'll copy this LFO over. So again, how to do that? Hold Alt, click and drag, put that into LFO 2, and we'll adjust that onto the cutoff of the filter. And to get a lot more unique feelings to it, we'll adjust one of these LFOs to be like, okay, 2 bars, while one is only 1 bar. Ooh, okay. Maybe we can make this 2 bars. Matter of fact, we'll keep this one a bar and then put this one 2 bar. And then if we want to really take it further, we can add this to filter 2. And add an extra high pass filter on it. Alright, so let's try that. Let's try that on... Okay, that sounds pretty cool. I like that. And just to give it some extra emphasis, we'll add some distortion on there, put a little bit of soft clipping on there. And just to give it like just to give it some added variety, we're gonna take another LFO. Probably adjust this down to about only 2. Let's go. Now that just turned into an entire percussive loop right there. You know what, matter of fact, yeah, no, I'm sorry, I'm saving this. I'm sorry, I'm recording this. I'm recording that for sure. Yeah, that shit sounds fire. Alright, so we got that one recorded. We'll keep that one for later. Then we can adjust this for 1/2. And if we didn't want to make, like, let's just say perk loops or something like that, we can make hi-hat loops by just changing this to a hi-hat high pass. And we'll move all bars. probably adjust this one like this. Alright, let's try that one out. Okay, that doesn't sound that bad. And of course you can adjust it by like 2 bars. You can adjust it by 2 bars to make it go slower and stuff. Yeah, adjust this out. All right, so there you go. That's a cool little like rhythm kind of feel, hi-hats and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and grab that. So pretty much this is like a combination of if you were to have pretty much like hi-hats along with ride cymbals and stuff. It's pretty much like a combination of that. All right, cool. So pretty much that's how you would go about making how you go about making like drum loops like that. So if you want to make like a top loop, yeah, that's what it is, like top loops and everything. That's how you make like top loops. If you want to make like hi-hat loops, perk loops and all that stuff, that's pretty much a good foundation for all of that. So we can call this perk and loop. So we pretty much made that, and we also have the perk loops for Hypertrap. cool. And pretty much since, of course, since this is pretty much like a perk loop in and of itself, that's pretty much how you would you could pretty much use the knowledge from making these perk loops to create your own little perks, because that's pretty much how most perks are made, is usually with it's usually made with like some type of noise sample, and then you use like a bandpass filter that's pretty much, you know, attacking really fast, as well as just a very short body. So that's pretty much how you would mostly make perks like this. But if you want to make interesting percussive sounds, that's where, as I was saying earlier, if you were paying attention in the masterclass at the beginning, this is why I was saying download Dolby On for your phone, because then you can record stuff. You can record stuff and then be able to use it later to make drums out of it. So let me go ahead and find the... Let me go find the file here real quick. I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. So, cool. So, this whole recording right here is literally a recording of me just going around my entire apartment. Alright? I went around my entire apartment and was just banging on certain things to get certain tonalities and stuff. So you could take something like that, right? You can take something like this, put this inside of your mixer, got a parametric EQ, and start adjusting stuff. And then you can make it as long or as short as you want. So it'll be like... And if you want to, you could add... Add some ring mod on there. And there you go. You got a perk sample. There you go. And then take another EQ like this. You can even save that and put that right there. And just for added clarity, we can add a transient processor on there to really give those transients a lot of attack. Cool. And then we just record that out. Now you got yourself a new perk sample. And all it took was just a random recording that you took from your own apartment or wherever and everything, wherever environment you were in, and you literally created it into a perk sample. And even with this, you don't even have to stop there. You can literally go stretch mode, adjust the pitch of it. So you can have many different variations of this one perk sample just by doing stuff like that. Nice. So now that we got pretty much, I would say, yeah, pretty much the majority of everything. I think I pretty much covered the majority I could talk about. I would talk about crash cymbals, but I still have not mastered crash cymbals yet. But it's pretty much the same as making ride cymbals, but it's a lot more complex. So until I master that, I'm probably don't want to talk about that one. But yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything I could about everything that I've learned about drum sound design. And now it's all here for a video that everyone could watch and be able to make your own drums with. But don't go nowhere. I'm gonna take a short little break, and we'll see what kind of beat we can make out of these drums that we made today. So let's take a short little intermission, and we'll be right back, guys. Masterclass is back in session. Alright, so, for everyone who's been paying attention to the Masterclass, let's go over everything we've learned today. So, we've learned how to make kick drums from scratch using sine waves. You can pretty much use any synth for this. As long as you can generate a sine wave, you can follow along and did exactly what we did. Alright, so we made a kick from scratch. Then we focused on creating a snare from scratch, and we made a couple snares. We made a few kicks just to give different varieties. We made a hybrid trap kick, we made a regular boom bap kick, and we made a dubstep kick. We made a hybrid trap snare, and we made a dubstep snare. Then after that, we focused on the cymbals. So we made hi-hats, we made ride cymbals, and yeah, that's pretty much what we did for the cymbals. And last but not least, we pretty much did pretty much how to make perk samples and how to make top loops like hi-hat loops, as well as percussive loops, so that way you could just drag and drop them in there, and then you don't have to worry about making the whole thing yourself. Now, if you want to make it yourself, then I highly recommend using FPC, which is pretty much like an MPC inside of FL Studio. But if you don't have FL Studio and you're watching this and you're using Ableton, then just use the Ableton MPC that's on there. I forgot the name of it and stuff, but you get what I'm talking about. But yeah, you use the Ableton MPC on there, and even if you use Logic, I'm pretty sure Logic has one of these types of things on there as well. But definitely use one of those and just go ham putting a bunch of your perks in there, your hi-hat loops and all that stuff, and just go ham with it, man. And you can create your own loops with it. But if you want to create a self-generated loop inside of Serum, then it's just a good use of different LFOs at a certain speed, and then adjusting the filters as you go along to give it a much more humanistic feel. So, now that we've done all that, let's use some of these drums that we've done so far, and let's make a beat out of it. So I'll move some of these to the side. So let's go for like a 4-bar loop right here. And let's switch this over to bar real quick. Just so that I get that. And then we go back to tap. There it is. Matter of fact, let's switch all these. So go to macros, switch all audio clips to stretch mode. Let's go to 145. See, go ahead and make this like this. That shit was that was trippy. Okay. Probably put this one. Okay, okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and take these two. Put all the basses into one right here. Just so that way I can add a kickstart on there, put that in half. Just so that way we could hear the snare better. And the kick. Let's go ahead and move these still to the side. Matter of fact, let's actually move all this. Just move it down here. And then we'll hit Alt M to mute them all. So go. Yeah, okay. They'll make this unique. Then we'll stretch this out a little bit. that unique as well. Yeah, okay, we'll do. Yeah. Keep it nice and simple. So sometimes simplicity is the best, you know. You don't need to make it too overcomplicated. Then we'll go ahead and add a reverb on here. Let's add the right cymbals and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Let's add the right cymbals. Wait, that's not the right cymbals, I don't think. Yeah, that's it, yep. Just serve the song as long as its vibes is good. Exactly, bro. Then we can add some background effects on there. Yeah, something like that. This is in an E, so I have to take this down about 2. cool. So that's pretty much like what we can do, what we can make with dubstep. I like what we pretty much made with dubstep, so. Let's see what we can make with the hybrid trap. Tempo. Put that like that. Ooh. I'll probably take like a glitch sound. Oh, and that's another. I guess that's another thing I didn't even do for. I guess that's another thing I didn't really do for hybrid trap was actually how to make 808s and stuff. So let's change that real quick. Bonus lesson. Bonus lesson. Alright, so when it comes to 808s, you'll definitely want to go in the key of your song. So for this one, this is in the key of, I'm pretty sure it's D, yeah. Yeah, D, so. I almost asked earlier if you were gonna tackle 808s. Yeah, yeah. As soon as I was making the beat, I was like, oh yeah, we didn't even do that. I was like, we didn't even cover that part. Yeah, that's a crucial part right there, man. Sorry. Like, damn, we almost slipped that. We almost slipped it. All right. But hey, we got it now. So, when it comes to 808s, okay? 808s, if you're trying to make, like, let's just say, like hybrid trap type of music and everything, usually you would want your 808s to be pretty long and everything. Somewhere around, I would say, like, at max and everything, about a bar and everything. About a bar's worth of an 808's length and shit. But if you're just trying to go for, like, let's just say hip hop or just something lightly groovy and all stuff, then yeah, a short little, like, quarter note 808 and all that stuff will pretty much serve you good and stuff. But if you're trying to make, like, 808s that really, like, last long and shit, then definitely we'll have to go for at least a bar. So let's go for 1 bar here. We'll put that onto the level here. Put that on envelope mode. Alright, cool. Now we'll take 1 LFO. And we'll probably put this onto a bar as well. I'll put this onto the coarse pitch. And you want it to just have it that light, subtle thump and everything when you hit the 808 and everything, just like boom, boom, boom. Because the majority of the 808's grit is going to come from the distortion. So right now we're just trying to make the fundamental of it. Now we'll put this on envelope mode. And then we'll add an extra, just to give it a little bit of extra grit. Just to give it a little bit of extra grit, we'll add like an extra bit of pink noise on here. We'll just go with Art Pink. And we'll set that up to filter 1. And we'll set this to high pass filter. Would you put distortion or saturation on 808? I guess it just depends on. I guess it really just depends on what you're trying to like go for with your 808. If you're trying to create like a warm kind of 808 and all that stuff, then yes, I would use saturation and all that stuff. But if you're trying to go for like a gritty, more like, like in your face kind of 808, then yeah, I would use distortion and everything. But if you're just looking for a warm 808 just to give it that extra bit of grittiness, but not too much of it, then saturation is your perfect point. Saturation is perfect for that. Now, the reason why we're going to have this noise layer here is because that's what's going to create even more of a grittiness when we combine them together. Alright, so now we're going to go inside of here. Wait, we don't need convolve. Get out of here. So now we're going to put a compressor on it just so that way we can glue them together. Now we'll add the distortion. This is where we're going to get the rich harmonics from it. And adjust the noise level a little bit. And we'll have this go with the level of this as well. Like, you hear the extra grittiness in it now? And that's just because the pink noise is getting meshed with the distortion as well as the sine wave. And you can adjust how much you want of it just by adjusting the cutoff right here. Alright, and then just to bring it all up, we can just adjust the level right here. Oh, there we go. So, also, if you want to have like a soft 808 and everything, you just adjust the attack level of the body of the 808. You just adjust it a little bit off to give it like a softer attack. But if you want like straight up in your face, like bass in your face, just have the attack go all the way up. Now you really hear the thump of it all. So soft. And then tough. So now we can add that onto this track. And just so that way these don't interfere with the 808, let's take all these. We'll take a parametric EQ and cut off all the low ends. There we go. Now we got an 808 to go along with the beat. Let's go. Let's freaking go. But yeah, that's pretty much how you would make an 808 from scratch. So yeah, this is pretty much what we made with the dubstep. And this is what we made with Hybrid Trap. Nice. Awesome. Well, I think that'll pretty much cover it right there, man. That is the drum design masterclass right there. I appreciate everybody who showed out and gave it some love. Appreciate everyone on Twitch who came by for the affiliate celebration as well and everything. This was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun. We made a good amount of drums, made them all from scratch. We learned it all the way from scratch. And now you guys know how to make your own drums, man. So hopefully this whole masterclass was super helpful for you. If it was, please let me know down in the comments on YouTube. Definitely give it a like. Definitely share it with a friend who you think would probably find it very helpful if they were trying to find out how to make drums from scratch. Then definitely show them this masterclass, man. But yeah, bro. This was a lot of fun, man. Yeah, I appreciate everyone who showed up for the masterclass and just chilling out, vibing. And if you were actively learning throughout this entire masterclass, you got bonus points because now you're really gonna know exactly how everything's made. But for everyone who didn't make it and you're now watching this live stream, or even just the masterclass in general, and you weren't here for the live and everything, definitely go back and rewind to parts that you probably missed, take some extra notes, and definitely follow along with it, man. Again, I encourage active learning because that is actually definitely better than passive learning. So definitely use this masterclass as a tool in your arsenal for whenever you need to make drums from scratch and just need a fundamental reassurance. But heck yeah, man. Appreciate everyone who came out for the class. And I'll definitely catch you guys in the next one. Until then, peace out. And y'all have a good evening, y'all.
Hammer on the beat.